I stand before you in this house, the seat of one of the world's great legislature, with feelings of friendship and respect. I bring with me the warm greetings and good wishes of the people of America to the people of India. Not long ago, both of our people's governments passed through grave crises. In different ways, the values for which so many have lived and died were threatened. In different ways and on opposite sides of the world, those values have been successful. It is sometimes argued that the modern industrial state must inevitably lose sight of the democratic ideal. The recent experience of my country put that argument to the test, and the result was a justification of freedom and self government. The opposite argument is made even more frequently. There are those who say that democracy is a kind of rich man's plaything and that the poor are preoccupied with survival to care about the luxury of freedom and the right to choose their government. This argument is repeated all over the world by persons whose own belies are full and who speaks from positions of privilege and power in their own societies. The evidence both in India and in America is plain. It is that there is more than one form of hunger, and neither the rich nor poor will feel satisfied without being fed in both body and in spirit. India and America share practical experience with democracy. We in the United States are proud of having achieved political union among a people whose ancestors come from all over the world. Our system strives to respect the rights of a great variety of minorities, including a growing and productive group of families from India. India is succeeding in this historic task. Your economic challenges are no secret and their seriousness is well understood in the West. What is far less well understood is the degree to which Indian social and economic policy has been a success. In the single generation since your independence was gained, extraordinary progress has been made. India is now a major industrial power. Your economy ranks among the 10 largest in the world. It is virtually self-sufficient in consumer goods and a wide variety of iron and steel products. There have been notable increases in production in nearly every important sector of industry. This kind of growth makes it important to try to reduce trade barriers and to promote both bilateral trade and mutual responsibility for the world trading system. Life expectancy has increased by 20 years since independence. The threat of major epidemics has receded. The literacy rate has doubled. While only a third of Indian children went to school in the years just after independence, nearly 90% of primary age Indian children now receive schooling. 9 times as many students go to universities as before. I mention these gains because we tend to overlook them in our preoccupation with the problems that quite properly engage most of our attention. India's difficulties, which we often experience ourselves and which are typically of the problems faced in the developing world, remind us of the tasks that lie ahead. But India's successes are just as important because they decisively refute the theory that in order to achieve economic and social progress, a developing country must accept an authoritarian or totalitarian government and all the damage to the health of the human spirit which that kind of rule brings with it. We are eager to join with you in maintaining and improving our valuable and mature partnership of political and economic cooperation. In a nation of many hundreds of millions of people, only a few American business leaders are involved on a daily basis in the economic and commercial life of this subcontinent. We need to identify more areas where we can work together for mutual benefit and indeed the benefit of the whole world. In the area of development, I am deeply impressed with the creative direction the government of India has charted in the new economic statement. You have committed your nation to rural improvement and the creation of rural employment. This policy now faces the test of implementation and especially the test of bringing its benefits to the poorest sections of your rural population. But the seriousness and determination of your commitment is cause for optimism. The new direction of your government coincides with our own view that development priorities should emphasize meeting basic human needs. We want to learn from you and to work with you. In agriculture, there are also exciting new areas of technology on which we can work together. After a decade of importing grain, India now stands with a surplus of 20 million tons. This is a tribute to the growing productivity of your agriculture and the competence of your administrative services. We applaud the grain reserve program you have begun, and we would welcome the opportunity to share with you our resources and experience in dealing with the storage problems that surpluses bring with them. Our countries must be in the forefront of the effort to bring into existence the international food reserve that would mitigate the fear of famine in the rest of the world. At the same time, we must recognize that today's surpluses are likely to be a temporary phenomenon. The best estimates indicate that unless new productive capacity is developed, the whole world with its rapidly growing population may be facing large food shortages by 1980. The greatest opportunities to increase agricultural productivity exist here in India and elsewhere in the developing world. These opportunities must be seized so that India can remain self-sufficient and perhaps even export food to countries with less agricultural potential. In the past, America and India have recorded great achievements in working together in the agricultural field. But there is still a vast potential to be tapped through further cooperation. I would like to see an intensified agricultural research program aimed at improving productivity in India and at developing processes that could be used elsewhere. This program would be based in the agricultural universities. Mr. Desai and I may now instruct our governments to focus on these matters and come up with specific proposals within the next few months.